Friday night. Ain't no telling where we headed. It's a Friday night. What we doing? Are we?
Yo, what's up, YouTube? Back at you with another video. On today is the Keeping It Raw podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Click that bell so you'll be notified whenever we put up an upload. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. We're going to talk about cornerback Ja'Quan Sheppard. If you have not subscribed to the channel, then what are you waiting for? We're talking about some of today's top prospects that will be coming into the NFL. And I got another corner with me on today, Ja'Quan Sheppard. Definitely an under-the-radar guy. And definitely, man, it's a lot to be liking about this kid because he's very intriguing, and he has an imposing size at 6'2", weighs in at 203 pounds, and this kid can flat out lock down his area. When I got a chance to watch his tape, I just saw a kid that is definitely staying with most of the receivers, and that's something that you definitely can value. He's one of those guys that you can draft in the later rounds and walk away with being proud that you drafted this kid because he's going to lock down his side. Now, he doesn't have the production in the area of interceptions or takeaways, and that's something that you would definitely like to see more of. But at the same time, he does have the experience. He has a career tackles of 96 career tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 18 PDs, and 0 interceptions. So that's an area in the NFL you definitely want to be able to get some turnovers and takeaways in the NFL. And that's something that I want to see Sheppard be able to do. Sheppard is definitely he definitely has the experience with 5 years of college football experience. Sheppard is very good in the zone coverage, and that's like his number one thing, playing in zone. And in the NFL, most teams like guys that can play in zone and in man. And if you can do both of those things, you're going to be definitely an asset to the team. So I think that most of the teams that's going to be out there, a guy like him, they're going to want to see, teams are going to want to see him play more man and more press as well. They're going to want to see, if he can really, really handle his business and he can really be Sheppard Island out there. Sheppard is very good at locking down his side. He prides himself in locking down his side of the field, and that's his number one thing, man. Even though he doesn't have the interception, he does lock down his side of the field. And most teams will be intrigued by his size and his length. He has those fluid hips and can stay with most receivers. And I just think that this kid is going to be one of those guys that you can take in the later rounds and you can develop him. That's what you want to be able to do, is develop some of these guys. And I think that the way that the Detroit Lions will be attacking this thing, they have the 3 ways that they can do it. Either you go out and you get your number one corner through getting that guy through free agency, or you get him through a trade, or if you can't do it that way, you're going to have to groom a guy to be your number one corner. And I really, really like his size, man. This kid has the size that you want at the cornerback position. You want, I guess that just would be my preference. I would go for a bigger corner. The smaller corners, nothing wrong with those guys because those guys can be good as well. But when you draft a bigger corner, man, definitely he can be intimidating and impose his will out there on these bigger receivers as well. So I love sometimes being able to grab a guy that's a bigger cornerback. So I definitely think that he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be taken probably in the later rounds. The mid to late rounds is where you'll find this guy at, and I think that he'll be drafted by a team that definitely plays a lot of zone. And I know that Detroit does play zone, but they also play man as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see where he's going to land at on draft day. But I think that Ja'Quan Sheppard is definitely an under-the-radar guy. I think that this kid is talented. And I think that this kid, at the end of the day, he's going to surprise a lot of teams, man. I know the last 2 corners, I think, that was taken, I'm trying to remember. I know Deonte Banks went to Maryland. He was a product of Cincinnati, though. So Ja'Quan Sheppard played at Cincinnati, and I don't know why he just didn't stay. Maybe he got NIL deal, and that's the reason why he went over to Maryland. But he pretty much played most of his college football at Cincinnati. And then in his last and final season, he went over to Maryland. And I know that Maryland just got 2 corners that got drafted last season. I know Deonte Banks was one, but I can't think of the other kid that got drafted into the NFL at the other cornerback position. So definitely, man, I think that Ja'Quan Sheppard is definitely a solid talent. And I think if you want to develop a guy in the later rounds, I definitely think that Sheppard would be one of those guys that you could pick up and you can develop him. Especially, I love everything about his size, and I love that this kid can lock down his side of the field. That's one thing that he really, really has going for himself in this draft, that he can lock down his side of the field. All right, guys, leave it in the comment section what you think about cornerback Ja'Quan Sheppard. I'm out of here until next time. Peace.
What we doing? Are we stepping out? Life's been too hard, we gon' make it count. I ain't mad at the world, I'm just living life. And if I came up out the bag, you know I pay the price. The night's too young, let's have some fun, let's paint the town. Let's shut it down, it's our time now. And I ain't going in till the sun come up. And I ain't going in until we blew up the Bucks. Cause it's us, throw it up, live it up. Come with us, we gon' paint the town, love you right now. Hop in the Bentley, let the roof down.